what is going on guys, Orhan here, and if any of you caught my LG V20 video, you'll know that I looked at the phone as a solid replacement for the Note 7. And continuing that trend here, we have the Samsung Galaxy S7. But before we look at how close of a replacement it can be for your Note 7, let's actually take a look at the phone itself. Now let's start off with the design. I think when you look at a Samsung phone, the first thing that you have going for it is definitely the design. And the S7 is no exception. It has those round edges on the sides that make in-hand experience very nice. Compared to the sharp ones from last year, I think that this is a welcomed upgrade. And if you're worried that you're going to scratch or crack the back of the phone, the back is actually covered in Corning Gorilla Glass 4, so you have some protection. Now going around the design, you have the tactile volume and power buttons that we're familiar with from previous generations. Now going around to the front of the phone, you have that 5.1-inch screen, which we'll get to later on. And underneath that, you have the fingerprint sensor. Now in terms of speed, I think that the fingerprint sensor of the S7 is right up there with Touch ID 2.0 on the iPhone. It's just blazing fast. So yeah, if that's something you care about, you'll be happy with the S7. And on the bottom you have your standard ports like microSD and the headphone jack. Now the speakers on the S7 probably just got the biggest downgrade on any phone, because the design of the S7 is IP68 water and dust resistant. On one hand, having water resistance is a good thing, but the biggest thing that the water resistance knocks out on a phone is definitely the speakers. The speakers don't really get as loud as the speakers we had on the S6, and they definitely sound more distorted and tinny. But if you like IP68 water and dust resistance, that's just something that you're gonna have to live with. And when it comes to the actual phone itself, Samsung made it a bit thicker this year, which allowed for a bigger battery and a smaller camera hump, which is definitely a welcomed upgrade. And yeah, the design on the S7 is pretty good. Like I said, if Samsung gets anything right in their phones, it's definitely the design. But yeah, if a good design is important to you, you'll be happy with the S7. Now let's get on to the display. We have a 5.1-inch Quad HD Super Amoled display with a pixel density of 577 pixels per inch. And for the record, this is definitely the best display on any smartphone today. The colors on the display are really vibrant, and viewing angles are just great since it's an OLED display. So yeah, if a display on a smartphone is important to you, you and the S7 just became best friends. And a nice little feature that the screen has is an always-on display, which is pretty handy if you're into what it offers. Now on to performance. The S7 is rocking a Snapdragon 820 with an Adreno 530 GPU along with 4 gigs of RAM, packed together in a 3000 mAh battery. It also comes in 32 and 64 gig variants. And fortunately this year it's upgradable up to 256 gigabytes via microSD. And day-to-day use with the S7 was pretty good. I experienced little to no lag throughout heavy use. But one thing you might want to note is that when you put the S7 under heavy use for a long period of time, the phone is probably going to heat up. So that's something you might want to note if you're going for the Note 7. But if you don't care about that, I'm proud to report that the S7 handles heavy gaming just fine. And the S7 is running a version of Touchwiz on top of Android 7.0. Now I mentioned this before, I don't really like skins on phones, I'm more of an Android purist guy. And Touchwiz used to be something that I absolutely hated. But Samsung has done some work around the OS, fixed up some annoying bugs, and for the moment, for me, it's usable. But battery life throughout day-to-day use was pretty okay. Again, the S7 has a 3000 mAh battery, so you're looking at something around 3 to 3.5 hours of screen on time. So overall, the S7 battery life is good, but definitely not the best out there. So that's something you might want to keep in note when you're going for the S7. And another strong point with the S7 is the camera. This year we have a 12 megapixel sensor capable of shooting 4K video at 30 FPS. The camera also has phase detection, autofocus, and optical image stabilization. And there's also a 5 megapixel sensor in the front for all those people that take selfies. But in terms of the main camera, I have to say off the bat that there's no argument that this is the best camera on any smartphone right now. Things like autofocus are just stupid fast, and the camera quality is definitely the best out there in the market. And when you compare it to the competition, the S7 definitely has the best camera on any smartphone right now. So yeah, if you have a thing for cameras and smartphones, the S7 is definitely for you. So yeah, if cameras and displays are important to you, the S7 has the best camera and the best display on any smartphone right now. So yeah, if you're a person that cares about that, the S7 is definitely for you. So yeah, that's basically it. Just a quick overview of my thoughts and impressions and how this phone performed during the time that I used it. Again, my name is Orhan, and I'll see you guys in the next one.